Right now, I mean, literally right at this second, millions of microscopic granules are probably washing off roofs across the Midwest.
Yeah, just flowing right down the gutters.
Exactly, going down the gutters and, disappearing into storm drains. And most homeowners have absolutely no idea that their property's primary line of defense is just silently bleeding out with every passing rainstorm.
It really is. It's like a slow motion failure happening right above our heads.
Right. Because you paint the walls when they look tired or, you replace the carpet when it gets worn down.
The obvious stuff.
Exactly, the obvious
Yeah.
stuff. Property ownership is full of these visible milestones. But, I mean, when was the last time you climbed a ladder just to see how the literal roof over your head was holding up?
Probably never for most people.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are taking a comprehensive look at a major milestone everyone eventually faces, replacing a roof. And we're specifically focusing on the unique environmental challenges in places like Council Bluffs, Iowa.
And, this isn't just about nailing down some new materials. We are really talking about the structural science that keeps a building standing.
Absolutely. We're pulling all this from a great guide by Council Bluff Roofing titled Navigating Roof Replacement in Council Bluffs, IA. And our mission today is specifically tailored for you, the listener.
We want to decode those subtle warning signs of a failing roof.
Right, and explore the surprising physics behind modern roofing materials and, most importantly, provide a concrete timeline and a specific checklist for hiring a true local expert when you tackle this massive project.
It is a massive project.
It totally is. Okay, let's unpack this. Because taking a seemingly mundane piece of home maintenance and revealing the incredible engineering behind it is, well, it's exactly what we love to do.
We really need to frame the stakes first, though. A roof is not just a lid you put on a box.
Right.
It's a dynamic ecosystem, It serves as the building's armor. And in a climate like Council Bluffs, that armor is subjected to a brutal cycle of environmental stressors.
I bet.
You have heavy, prolonged winter ice storms, and then intense, baking summer heat, plus severe high wind events. This environment actively attacks structural weaknesses.
Yeah, the weather doesn't just happen to a house, it tests it.
Exactly.
But before you can even plan a defense against that weather, you kind of have to know your current armor is actually failing.
Which brings us back to those microscopic granules I mentioned at the start. Yes, the granules. When you're trying to decide between a minor, targeted fix and a total overhaul, you have to look for physical shingle degradation.
Okay.
And granule loss it's a critical early warning system.
So what does that actually look like?
Well, when you clean out your gutters in the fall, if you are scooping out this coarse, dark, sandy sediment piling up near the downspouts, that is not just dirt blowing in from the yard.
Oh, wow.
No, those are the actual protective granules from the surface of your asphalt shingles.
Okay, so the granules washing away into the gutters, that's essentially like your house's sunscreen washing off in the pool, right? Leaving the vulnerable layers underneath completely exposed to the sun and rain.
That is a perfect analogy, yeah.
Yeah.
And once that sunscreen is gone, the underlying asphalt takes the full, brutal brunt of the solar radiation.
Yikes.
And what's fascinating here is the actual physical mechanism of that degradation. Those granules aren't just for color or texture, They are the primary defense against UV rays.
Right.
Once they wash away, the exposed black asphalt absorbs all that intense summer heat. It basically bakes.
Like an oven?
Exactly. The essential oils inside the asphalt start to dry out, making the material super brittle instead of flexible. It totally loses its ability to expand and contract with temperature shifts.
And I mean, when a rigid, brittle material tries to expand and contract, it just cracks.
It snaps. You will see curling edges on the shingles, deep fissures, or just completely bare spots.
And the moment that protective layer cracks,
Water gets a free pass into the layers below.
which brings us to water intrusion, the absolute ultimate enemy of any structure.
Oh, yeah. The worst.
If you start seeing dark, circular stains on your interior ceilings or, you hear an active drip in your attic, that means the secondary defense is gone.
The underlayment beneath the shingles, right? It's been compromised.
Yeah, and this is where we have to distinguish between a localized repair and a complete catastrophic system failure.
Exactly. I mean, if a severe windstorm blows through and a heavy tree branch cracks 3 or 4 shingles, that's isolated damage. You patch it.
Sure, that makes sense.
But if you have widespread moisture penetration because the material has fundamentally aged out and degraded, that moisture doesn't just drip onto your ceiling drywall.
Where does it go?
It soaks into the actual structural bones of the house.
The roof deck itself, like the wood underneath evergreen.
Precisely. If you ever look up at a roof line from the street and notice the wood sagging or like dipping between the rafters, that indicates long-term moisture exposure.
Oh, man. So the wood is just failing.
Yeah, the structural plywood, the decking beneath the shingles, is just rotting from the inside out.
That sounds dangerous.
It is. If you ignore that, you aren't just risking a bigger leak in the living room. You are inviting hazardous mold growth and heavily compromised wooden framing.
So it stops being a roofing problem and becomes a whole house structural hazard.
Exactly. It's a huge issue.
Which means it is definitely time for a full replacement. We've diagnosed the dead roof.
RIP to the roof.
Right. So now, what actually happens when the crew shows up? Because stripping the entire system off is a massive operation.
Oh, it's a huge undertaking.
And honestly, wait, I have to play devil's advocate here and ask this. Tearing it all the way down to the bare wood sounds incredibly expensive and labor-intensive.
It can be.
So if my roof is just old, but not, actively caving in, why can't a crew just slap a new layer of shingles right over the old ones to save time and cash? Isn't that actually allowed in some places?
Well, it is technically permitted by some older municipal codes, yeah. And it might seem like a logical financial shortcut in the short term.
Might save a few $1,000.
But it is a massive, massive risk. A complete down-to-the-decking tear-off is the absolute industry standard for a very specific reason.
Okay.
Remember that rotting structural plywood we just discussed?
Yeah.
You cannot visually inspect that wooden decking for dangerous hidden rot if it's completely covered by a decaying layer of old asphalt.
Ah, right. So if you just nail new shingles on top, you might literally be hammering them into rotted wood that can't even hold the nail.
Exactly. You're building a brand new roof on a crumbling, compromised foundation.
You're just masking the failure.
Totally. Plus, old shingles are usually warped and curled anyway. If you install over them, your new roof will never sit flat.
So it's bumpy.
Yeah, and the seals will be compromised from day one, it won't lay right, and you have essentially just wasted thousands of dollars.
Wow.
You absolutely have to remove the old material to fix the decking, apply new synthetic underlayment, and guarantee a completely flat, structurally sound surface.
That makes total sense when you understand the physics of it. And, it highlights another crucial concept from the guide. A roof isn't just a lid. It breathes.
Yes. The attic ventilation.
Yeah, this massive hidden part of the equation that I think most people completely overlook.
They absolutely do. This is exactly why we call it an ecosystem. The longevity of your exterior materials relies so heavily on the internal airflow of your attic.
Really? How so?
Well, when professionals execute a comprehensive installation, they calculate the exact square footage of the space to perfectly balance intake vents, which are usually under the eaves and exhaust vents, usually along the peak or ridge of the roof.
And the science behind why that airflow matters is genuinely brilliant, especially in a place with heavy Midwestern winters.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, let's look at the fluid dynamics of an ice dam. In the winter, you have all this heat rising from your living space into the attic, right?
Right. And if your attic is poorly ventilated, that trapped heat warms up the underside of the roof deck.
Which melts the snow sitting on top of the shingles.
Exactly. And as that melted snow flows down the slope of the roof, it eventually hits the eaves, the overhangs.
Which aren't sitting over the warm attic space. So those eaves are freezing cold.
Right. So the water hits the freezing eaves, turns back into solid ice, and builds a literal dam of ice.
Oh, I've seen those. And then I guess more snow melts, flows down, hits the ice wall, and just starts pooling.
And since roofs are designed to shed water downward, not hold standing water like a bathtub, that pooling water eventually flows backward.
Defying gravity.
Defying gravity, yeah. It wicks right up under the shingles and forces its way inside the house.
That's a nightmare. So how does ventilation stop that?
Well, proper ventilation keeps the attic cold in the winter, which keeps the entire roof deck cold.
Oh, so the snow just melts evenly and naturally from the sun.
Exactly, preventing the ice dam entirely.
That is wild. And it flips in the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
That same balanced airflow allows the superheated air to escape out of the top, which significantly reduces your indoor cooling costs.
Yep. If that heat can't escape, it literally cooks your asphalt shingles from the inside out, dramatically shortening their lifespan.
It is just a continuous, year-round breathing mechanism.
It really is. And, while the crew has everything stripped down to balance this airflow, they also replace all the vulnerable penetration points.
Because every hole in a roof is a liability.
Exactly. So they replace the pipe boots, which are the rubber collars around your plumbing vents. Rubber degrades way faster than asphalt in the sun, so those often crack first.
Good to know.
They also replace the chimney flashing, that's the specialized metal armor at the joint where the chimney meets the roof deck, and they install new metal drip edges to guide water cleanly into the gutters.
Basically resetting every microscopic vulnerability.
You have to.
Okay, so we've stripped it to the decking, we've cut out the hidden rot, we've balanced the breathing ecosystem of the attic,
Yeah?
and we've armored the joints.
We have a clean slate.
Right. Now we have to actually choose the material that goes on top.
And this raises an important question for property owners. How do you align your budget with the physical reality of the extreme weather in Council Bluffs?
Let's break down the material options from the guide, starting with the baseline standard. Architectural asphalt.
The classic.
Yeah, this is what you see in most residential neighborhoods. It gives you a 20 to 30-year lifespan and is engineered to withstand up to 110-mile-per-hour winds.
Which is pretty solid. It's highly popular because it provides a great balance of cost-effectiveness and versatility.
Definitely. But when you are looking at severe Midwestern storm patterns, alternative materials are heavily gaining traction. For instance, standing seam metal.
Oh, I love standing seam metal.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
With this, you're looking at a 40 to 70-year lifespan, and it can withstand wind speeds up to 140 miles per hour.
140 miles per hour.
I mean, so that is essentially hurricane-grade wind protection sitting right in the middle of Iowa.
It is. And the mechanics of why it survives those speeds are fascinating.
How's it work?
Well, with a lot of traditional roofing, the fasteners, like the nails or screws, are driven right through the material. That creates a tiny hole that can rust or loosen over time.
Right, making it weak.
But standing seam means the metal panels interlock with these raised ridges, and the fasteners are completely hidden underneath those seams.
So there are no exposed holes at all.
None. The wind simply glides over the flat surface, unable to catch an edge and rip it off.
That is incredible engineering.
It really is.
Now, if we look at the absolute top end of the longevity scale, there's natural slate.
Ah, slate.
We are talking a 75 to 100-plus year lifespan, and it handles up to 130-mile-per-hour winds. It is basically rock armor for your house.
It is unparalleled longevity, but there is a pretty significant catch.
Right, because you can't just put slate on a standard suburban home.
No, absolutely not.
It strictly requires a reinforced structural framing system just to handle the sheer physical weight of the stone.
It is incredibly heavy.
It's like buying a massive antique cast iron bathtub for a second-floor bathroom. You know, you can't just drop it in. You have to open up the floor and make sure the joists beneath it won't instantly collapse from the weight.
That's a great way to put it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it proves that you can't just blindly pick the longest lasting material on a chart.
You have to match it to the house.
You have to align your expectations with the physical, structural capacity of your building. Slate is generally reserved for historic homes or custom builds designed specifically to hold it.
Which makes that standing seam metal look even better for a normal house. You get the 140-mile-per-hour durability without needing to tear apart and reinforce your entire roofing skeleton.
Precisely. It gives you elite defense without the crushing physical load.
Right. And just to round out the picture, there are two other options often discussed in the guide. Composite shingles, which give you a 40 to 50-year lifespan and a 110-mile-per-hour wind resistance.
Those are often used on luxury homes wanting a really specific aesthetic without intense maintenance.
And wood shake, which offers 20 to 40 years, but only withstands about 90-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, wood is gorgeous, but it's an aesthetic choice requiring heavy upkeep. It's not the ultimate defensive shield against severe storms.
Got it. So, assuming we have diagnosed the failure, prepared the deck, and selected the right material, let's look at the execution.
The actual installation phase.
Yeah. How long does it actually take? And who should be doing it? Because the timeline is surprisingly fast.
It really is.
A standard residential tear-off and replacement usually takes just 1 to 2 days.
1 to 2 days to completely replace the primary armor of a structure. It is an incredibly efficient operational dance when it's handled by seasoned professionals.
I can imagine.
Now, obviously, if your property has really complex, steep roof lines, multiple stories, or if they uncover extensive, unexpected structural rot in the decking, that timeline will extend slightly.
That makes sense.
But a vital operational standard you should look for is that the exposed structure is always securely dried in or tarped against the elements at the end of each workday.
Mm-hmm.
Your home is never left vulnerable overnight.
Right. And timing matters when you schedule this 1 to 2 day project. The optimal windows are late spring, summer, and early fall.
Yes, the warm months.
And the reason for this goes back to the physics of the materials. It's called thermal activation.
Right.
Asphalt shingles are manufactured with a factory-applied strip of sealant on the bottom. In cold weather, it's just hard, inert tar. But when the ambient temperature is warm, the sun heats up those shingles, melting that tar strip into an aggressive adhesive.
It's crucial for the bonding process.
Yeah, it literally welds the overlapping layers of shingles together into a single monolithic watertight sheet.
That thermal bonding is essential for the wind resistance ratings we discussed earlier. Without it, the wind can just lift them right up.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean you are completely helpless if a tree branch punctures your roof in January.
Good to know.
Active emergency leaks are addressed year-round using specialized cold weather materials and techniques. But for a proactive full system replacement, you definitely want that warm weather.
Okay, so let's talk about who does the work. Because honestly, if a massive hailstorm wrecks my roof in the middle of July and a crew from out of state knocks on my door the very next morning saying they have the materials and can fix it tomorrow.
The classic storm chasers.
Yeah, I mean, why shouldn't I just say, yes, I want the leak fixed fast? So let's actually build a timeline and a checklist for you, the listener, for hiring a local expert right here, because it seems crucial for a place like Council Bluffs.
It is perhaps the most critical part of this entire process. You really need this checklist.
Okay, lay it on me.
So, out-of-state transient storm-chasing crews operate on a model of volume and speed. They sweep into a disaster zone, work as fast as possible, and leave.
So what's item number 1 on our checklist?
If you are building a checklist for securing a permanent, durable roof, item number 1 must be verifying local code compliance.
Because building codes aren't just like annoying bureaucracy. They are engineering minimums based on regional weather data.
Exactly. A transient crew from a calm southern state might not have any idea what the specific wind rating requirements or ice and water shield mandates are for an Iowa winter.
Right, and if they install it wrong and it blows off 6 months later, that company is 3 states away. Good luck finding them.
You'll never see them again. Which brings us to item number 2 on your checklist, local permitting relationships.
Oh, that's a good one.
A true local expert knows exactly which municipal permits are required, how to file them efficiently, and how to ensure the job passes all local city inspections. They don't try to bypass the legal framework.
In item number 3 on the checklist, seasonal scheduling expertise.
Yes.
Like we talked about with thermal activation, you need a contractor who understands the exact nuances of local humidity and temperature shifts.
Definitely. If a crew rushes an installation on a damp, freezing morning just to get to the next house quickly, they can easily trap moisture underneath the new underlayment.
Dooming the roof from day one.
Completely. It is all about accountability. A dedicated local business, like the teams operating natively in Council Bluffs, are literally part of the community.
Their reputation relies on stringent quality control.
Right. They manage everything meticulously, from the safe setup of the tear-off to the final cleanup protocols.
And, okay, the final cleanup protocol is actually one of my favorite operational details from the guide. It really highlights the difference in care.
The magnets, right?
Yes. Local pros utilize these high-powered magnetic sweepers. They systematically push these heavy-duty magnets across your lawn, through your garden beds, and up and down your driveway.
Pulling up any stray nails, fasteners, or sharp metal debris.
It is such a great standard of care that protects your property, your car tires, and, your family long after the crew packs up.
Transient crews, focused solely on speed, frequently lack that level of meticulous respect for the surrounding landscape. They just want to get to the next job.
So what does this all mean? Let's sort of zoom out and synthesize this entire journey.
Let's do it.
We started by looking for the invisible breakdown, identifying that coarse, sandy sediment in your gutters, not as simple debris, but as your roof's vital UV protection washing away.
Leaving the asphalt to bake and crack in the sun.
We dove into the unseen ecosystem beneath the surface, realizing that a roof must actively breathe through perfectly balanced ventilation to prevent winter ice dams from backing water up under the shingles.
And to stop summer heat from cooking the materials.
Right. We analyzed the physics of the material matrix, understanding that standard asphalt gives you a solid baseline, but advanced options like standing seam metal provide hurricane-level wind resistance by cleverly hiding their fasteners beneath interlocking ridges.
And we learned why you can't just put a 100-year slate on a house without ensuring the skeleton can bear the massive weight.
Yes. And finally, we established a rigorous checklist for execution, planning for a highly efficient 1 to 2 day installation during warm weather for proper adhesive sealing.
And demanding true local experts who understand regional building codes, navigate local permits, and care enough to sweep your driveway with magnets.
It really is incredibly complex engineering masquerading as everyday home maintenance.
It really is. And grasping these structural concepts is how you transition from being just a reactive homeowner to a proactive property manager.
I like that. Proactive property manager.
Right. Understanding how your roof functions prevents minor hidden moisture issues from quietly snowballing into catastrophic framing rot.
So true.
At the end of the day, securing the roof is about protecting your entire real estate investment. A healthy, fully optimized roof secures the value of absolutely everything beneath it.
It guards the entire foundation of your life. So I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. The next time a heavy rainstorm rolls through, don't just sit on the couch and watch the rain hit the window pane. Throw on a jacket and step outside.
Get a little wet.
Exactly. Walk over and look closely at the water rushing out of the bottom of your downspouts. If you look into the puddles and see dark, sandy sediment collecting at the edges, you have to ask yourself, is the protective armor on my home quietly bleeding away while I sit comfortably inside?
It's a scary thought.
It is. It might be time to get a ladder, look up, and find out.